Please introduce us some brief about yourself.
Sure. Hey, Archit.
Hi Ranjan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Okay, so let's start with the introduction.
Sure. So my name is Rahul, and I have a total of 6.5 years of experience. And mostly I work with tech stack like Node.js, React.js, and Kafka, Redis, Elastic, uh, Google Cloud, Docker, Kubernetes, and all. And currently I'm working with Noise. I'm working with Noise for past 3 years. And a Noise is a audio streaming platform where you can listen to podcast, online radios, or you can also create your own room for live audio interactions. Mostly in Noise, I work in financial aspect of the application, and we do have some in-app currency that you can use to purchase premium content like premium podcast or premium live stream.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, currently I'm working on subscription model here, uh, uh, both based on in-app currency as well as in-app purchase provided by Apple and Google. Uh, yeah, so before Noise, I was with Apple India Limited in Gurgaon,
Mm.
and there I worked in their enterprise team where they provide service to different clients. So there I have worked with two clients. One is Good Food, where in which I have developed and designed the API for ordering online food from different sellers, and you can also schedule that order based on any time you want. Uh, the other client was Max Pupa. I worked with them to design their buying journey API for buying journey application, and yeah, before I worked in Apple for a period of 9 months only. And before Apple, I was with Eigen Technologies Private Limited. Uh, it is an IoT platform. Initially, I joined as an intern there, and in the internship period, I have done some research on different networking protocols to create a P2P connection between two nodes that are in different private network. After I joined as a full time, I shifted to another project in which I created a website where from where you can uh, check out all. They used to design their own PCBs for street lights. So on the website, they used to analyze their power consumption and performance and all, and also they used to control it over the internet. So I designed the website for that, and in 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 at last, I was part of a team that designed a generics IoT system where you can define your own capabilities. I mean, what all things you want to do with the device. So it will be configurable, kind of a SaaS platform. And after that, I left the company. So I didn't get the opportunity to work on that project. But yeah, I was part of designing the system for that.
Okay, fine. Um, Rahul, particularly on Node, how much experience you have?
Node, I have six years.
Okay. And on which framework you have worked on with Node.js?
Mostly, I worked with Express, but from last 3 years, I'm using Next.js.
Okay. So with particular Express, what is your experience?
Express, you can say 6 years because under the hood, Next also use Express, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Um, have you worked on front end?
Yes, not very much, but yes, I have mostly worked with React.js, and in Noise only when I joined, I have in initial phase we have to design a catalog and segments for the application. So for that purpose, along with the API, I also created the CMS that controls the catalog and the segments that are visible on the application.
Okay, fine. So Rahul, for React, what should I assume as your experience on React?
React, you can count 1.5 years.
Okay. And for database, which database you have worked on?
Initially, mostly I worked with Mongo, and from last 3.5 years, I'm working with MySQL as well.
Okay. So
Also, here and there, I use some other databases as well, like BigQuery, Bigtable, and all. I mean, we have the analytical data there. So when I need the data, I used to have access, or I need to process or see so the analytics of based on those data. I mean metrics. So I use those data as well.
okay. With MongoDB, you have used Mongoose or just normal MongoDB? Have you worked on Mongoose?
Yes, actually, I worked on both.
Okay. Okay, Rahul, other than JavaScript, are you aware of any other programming language?
Yes, initially, as I said on my research project, I have used both C++ and Python.
Okay.
So, but it's also, I didn't mention in my third year internship, I worked on Ruby on Rails as well. So,
Okay.
depending on the company and project, I have learned and changed the language.
Okay. Rahul, can you explain me what is the difference between promise and the callback function?
Promise and callback function.
Yeah.
Okay, so both used to handle asynchronous IO operation. So in callback, if we have multiple IO operation in a row, that makes it callback hell. And to resolve this issue, they introduce promise. So what it will do? It will chain all those operations, and you can get the result at the end.
Okay. Rahul, if I ask you, can you tell me if async await works synchronously or asynchronously?
Syntactically, it worked. I mean, if you see in a code, you think that it is, yeah, but under the hood, it works as asynchronous, and it will wait for that IO operation to complete, and then it will go to the next execution. I mean, next statement.
Okay.
So under the hood, everything is working in event loop. So it doesn't matter you are using callback or promise or await.
Okay. Rahul, can you explain me what is a middleware?
Middleware.
Yeah.
Yeah. So middleware is a design pattern, and mostly it was first introduced in Express, and mostly people use it in Express, and it gives us a freedom to create a common code that can be put in front of any interface, and it will run for I mean each and every API call or any interface you want. So middleware is just a function, common function you can define, just like we used to have interceptor in Next.js.
Okay, fair. Rahul, have you worked on Redis?
Redis, yes.
Okay, can you explain me the basic uses why we use Redis for?
Yes, so Redis we use for caching purposes, and caching mostly. So let's say you have your database, right? So one purpose to use caching is, let's say you want to reduce the number of calls on your database. So for that you can cache it and read it from there only. The other purpose is, let's say you have a recommendation system or analytical dashboard or something. So for that, you can also pre-calculate the values and cache it somewhere so that you can show it on the go when user request. So for that kind of feature, we use caching, either on demand or a pre-calculated something that we need to show.
Okay, fine. Rahul, have you worked on Socket.io?
No, actually, I have used it once, but not much experience in a real project.
Okay. Any basic idea why we use Socket.io for?
Yes, actually, for persistent connection. So persistent as well as it allows you to communicate both ways. I mean, once the connection established, any party can request. Server can also request a client for any information they want at any point. It's not just the client has to initiate. It can use a pull basis architecture as well, which is not there in HTTP. Normal HTTP protocol.
Okay. So, as you mentioned, you have worked earlier on sockets, right? So what was the purpose of using sockets for?
Yes, so I have used TCP socket, not socket IO.
Okay.
I think socket IO is something written over HTTP protocol, if I'm not mistaken. I have not a deep knowledge on that, but
Yeah, you were right. Yeah, it runs on HTTP.
yes, and it also that socket worked on application layer, but the one I used in real project, it was TCP socket, and it worked on transport layer, and I used both TCP and UDP socket to run on Stern and Turn protocol. So what it does is it exchanges the gateway address to each other so that both the private network node can send packet to each other.
Okay, fine. Rahul, have you worked on microservices?
Yes, actually.
Okay. Can you explain me why we use microservices and what is the benefit it gives us over monolithic architecture?
Okay. So one benefit I see is if you have multiple teams that are working in parallel, so it will be very easy to manage a project if we divide it into multiple microservices, and each team is responsible for a particular service, and they will do everything related to that. Load testing for that microservice, or designing a contract for that microservice based on other teams' requirement. API contracts, and designing a schema and everything. So it will be very easy to maintain if we divide in this way. Also, uh, if we think of in terms of failures, so it is very beneficial to use microservice, because if we have a monolithic architecture, and if something is failing due to a minor bug, it will make the whole application stop, right? So to prevent this, we can partition it in different microservices. That way, if one of the component gets down, it will not make everything down. So fault tolerant system it will make.
Okay. Fine. Rahul, have you worked on Docker and Kubernetes?
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain me what was the purpose you were using it for?
Okay. So firstly, for let's say if we deploy an application on a EC2 instance, so it doesn't scale very much. So we have to move it to Elastic. I mean, sorry, ELK. I mean Kubernetes. So for that, we need some kind of containerization that can be deployed there. So for that purpose, for containerization, we use Docker, and we make an image of that, and then we deployed it in Kubernetes, and that helps us to auto scale and auto scale up or auto scale down based on whatever RPM we have currently. Uh, yes, for that purpose only we used Docker and Kubernetes.
Okay. Fine. Rahul, have you worked on Kafka and RabbitMQ?
RabbitMQ, no. Kafka, yes. Kafka, I've been working for past 4 years.
Okay. Then what was the purpose you were using Kafka for?
Okay, so see, some of the when you call a particular API or an interface, so we can divide the operation into categories. Some can be done immediately, and some we can do it later as well. It doesn't even matter when we do it, right? So the second category I talked about, for this kind of processes, we use Kafka. And what we do is we schedule an event for that, and later in time, the consumer of that where we want to process it, it will consume those events, and it will process those events later. So what it will does is it will reduce the response time of the API.
Okay. Fine. Okay, Rahul, if I ask you to create any application from scratch, then what will you do for its security purpose? How will you make it a secure application? Let's suppose if I'm asking you to create a e-commerce application, okay? So how will you make it a secure application? From the backend side, try to focus on backend and try to give me an idea what are the modules, how will you make it a secure?
Okay. So each and every API would have either we can implement it on middleware or we can implement it on API gateway. We should have an authentication mechanism that this particular request is valid or not. So one thing is this, we can use JWT token for that. I mean, we can hash a token and then we can validate it when we get it back on the next request. And for security, we can also apply different validation method so that the SQL injection could be prevented. I mean, we should not allow any special character or something that will result into SQL injection. And third thing I would think of is we can apply rate limit, so that if you have the access, even you can't load the server. I mean, if someone has access and valid access token and start hitting the server repetitively, it will fill up either. Uh, I mean, it will create more load on the server, and it will very difficult. I mean, the server may go down at that time. So we can have a rate limit on each and every API. Yes, we can also apply cross origin, so that the request could not come from different client origin. And fourth thing, actually, recently I worked on that, but I'm not sure how it will work on website. But Google and Apple does provide a client verification method. So what they do is they create a token from internal interaction with the Play Store, and they used to send those token, and we can validate that it is coming from the correct bundle, app bundle or not. So that way also we can validate that it's the correct origin we are getting it.
Okay. Fine. Rahul, what do you understand by code reusability, and how do you apply it in your application to make it optimized?
Code reusability.
Yeah.
So whenever I think of any new feature, I think of whether what part it can be reused. So for that feature, we can create a different module and use it in our module, and later we can share it with other team members to be used in future. Just like, for example, I have created an interface. I have created a decorator. Uh, mm, I mean, it's been 2.5 years. So I have created a decorator. I mean, design a decorator for consumer. So what it will do, it will automatically fetch event from Kafka, and on whichever function you are applying the decorator to, it will run that function. And if that function runs successfully, it will mark the event consumed. Otherwise, it will reschedule it with increase the retry count. And also, after 3 or 4 number of retries, whatever we configured, it will simply send it to a dead letter queue. We have designed a database for that, where it will get stored, and later in the stage we can see whatever goes wrong with that and fix it. So I have designed this particular decorator and dead letter mechanism using this. So this function, I have used it in my catalog application, and later it gets reused in different part of the microservices.
Okay. Fine. What do you understand by MVC architecture?
MVC.
Yeah.
Yeah. So MVC stands for model, view, and controller. So it partition different in which category what we want to do. So let's say in model, we mostly manage uh, uh, what all the business logic you have. Okay, and uh, in Vue we used to design what all response we are sending to the front end, either it is HTML, JSON, XML, whatever. And in controller we decide based on what URL you have, what all things needs to be processed. I mean, what all business logic could be triggered. Uh, so these are the three part of when we create a particular API. And
Okay, fine. Okay, Rahul, do one thing. Share your screen and open any compiler, be it local, be online, whichever you're comfortable with.
sure. Is it visible?
Yeah, it has started. Okay, I've shared a text in the meet. Copy it, then I will explain it. Okay, so as an input, you have a string called eminence.innovation.com, and the second line is your output. So what you have to do, you have to get the frequency of the characters in the string. So what does that mean by that? As E has been repeated thrice in the string, so we have got it frequency as 3. So you have to get for all the following characters in the string and get it as object.
Understood.
Is the question clear to you? Should I explain
Yes,
it?
yes, it is clear. What about uppercase letter? I mean, do I?
We're not going for case sensitivity. You can just ignore it.
Okay. Let me save it in a file. I will create a function called get frequency, and it will input as a string, and we will create a hash, and we will loop over this string, and then hash str dot character at I equals to hash str character at I plus 1 or 1. Put on hash. Yes, this will count. Anything I'm missing? No. This will count the frequency of each and every character.
Okay. Fine.
Should I run it?
Yeah, sure. Go for it. Okay, perfect. Now, just do one thing for me. Only the function that you have created, just share me in the Meet as a text.
This, right?
Yeah, exactly. Only this. Okay. Perfect. Okay, Rahul, I've shared you another text. Copy it, then I will explain. Okay. Okay. So as an input, you have two arrays, array one, array two. What you have to do on the basis of common username, you have to collect the properties from both the arrays and have a single array of object. So as you can see in first array, a username Sai is having age 11, and the same username is having age salary role 12,000 in the second array. So treat them as two databases having some common username, and you have to collect the properties from both the arrays of objects. So in the output, we have got a final object in which we are having all the properties that a common username contains and have an array of it. So you have to assume as if in a single array there is only username which has no common username in other array, you will still get that properties which are still in the array first, and same for the array too. So you have to get the properties from both, but if there is no common object for the username, you will still get that property in the output array for yourself.
Okay. What if in both we have the same property?
If so, obviously in both same property won't be there, so you can assume that it won't repeat in both of them.
Got it. Okay. So one solution I can think of is uh, we can create a hash,
Mhm.
and in the hash, username will map to an object from, let's say, first array,
Okay.
and then we can iterate over the second array and put it whatever which is not, I mean, whatever is there in here except username. So one solution is this one. So should I write code for this?
Yeah, you can go for it.
Okay. So function name, let's say merge objects, and it will have error1, error2. Okay. First I will construct a hash. And, sorry. In the second step, I will load through array2. So first I will check whether it is hmm, it could be possible that it could be possible that in some username are there in array 1 and not in array 2,
Mhm.
and some are there in array 2 and not in array 1.
Okay.
So do I need to consider this thing?
Yeah, you have to. That some of the users won't be there in the second array, and they can be in first array, and goes again for array 2 as well.
Understood. Okay. So let's go over array 2. So I have iterated it, and if uh, check if it is there in hash or not, array 1 hash. So if it is not there, let's check it there. If it is there, then what we simply do is array 2 I I need to get all the keys from array 1 object. So let's get keys from hash array 1. And we need to iterate over it. If key not equals to username, then what we simply do is array 2 I key equals to hash username key. Okay. It will simply merge it, and we don't need this one. And at last, what we need to do is we need to um, we already checked whether array 2 username is there in array 1. We need
Okay.
to check the other way around. So we can iterate over array 1. And check whether it is hmm. For this purpose, we need another hash, right? But what if uh, what if what if I remove it from here? I mean hash. Let's say I have already merged it. all the keys here. After merging, delete it. Delete hash username. Now whatever we have is not available in array2. So const remaining username equals to object dot keys and hash. Now I will iterate over this remaining username, and what I will do is array2 dot push remaining username hi, and lastly we will return array2. Yes, I think this will work. Yep. Anything I'm missing? No. Yes, I think this will work.
Okay, you can go for it.
Sure. Sorry. Did I miss the outputs?
That's your output.
Okay. Merge objects.
Okay, perfect. Rahul, do one thing. Just share me the function that you have created and ignore the input.
Sure.
While sharing the text, just make sure it is covering the whole code, because sometimes it doesn't cover. Not here in the meet, I was saying. Sometimes it doesn't cover the whole text. So
Yeah. Yes. Should I email it to you?
no, just try to send me in the meet only. If it doesn't cover, then we'll figure out something else.
Sure.
You just send me till the line where it is covering, and after that, share me the rest of it. Okay, fine. Okay, Rahul, I'm sharing you the last one. Copy it, then I will explain.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so as an input, you have two JSONs, JSON1, JSON2. What you have to do, you have to look for the keys whose values are not matching. So what does that mean? As you can see in both the JSONs, there are some common keys in both the JSONs. Okay, so we have to look for the keys whose values are not matching. So if you look for the age in both the JSONs, none of their values are matching. Okay, so we will consider age as our output. But if you will come to the name, both of them are common in both the JSONs, but their values are same. So we will not consider them as our output, but age will be considered because their values are not matching. And if you'll come to city and country, both of the keys are not having any identical keys in any of them. Okay, so obviously none of their values are matching to any identical keys of them. So we will consider city and country both as our output, and we need only the keys as our output as an array.
Understood. So if the value doesn't match, we need to include the key, and if the key doesn't if key is not present, then only we need
Yeah,
to include.
exactly. Because in that case there is no value which is matching, so obviously
Yes,
uh,
yes.
values is also not matching.
Okay, sure. So let's write a function find non-matching keys. Input will be to JSON. Okay. We will get the keys of JSON1. Same with JSON2. Okay. So we will loop over this one first. We use map. We will check in JSON2 that this key is, if not available, let's initialize a result array. And in that case, we will push it. Same goes with key JSON2. And this will be checked in JSON1. And the last thing will be to get any one of this and check whether it is, if not present, this, else if JSON1 key not equals to JSON2 key. And also we return, push. Yes, I think this will work. Then lastly, we will return the result. Yep, this will work. Yes.
Okay. Same. Do one thing. Just share me the code. Only just ignore the inputs.
Sure.
Give me a minute. I'll apply. Okay, Rahul, it's done from my side. I'll share the report with HR and he'll update you. Okay.
I will,
Sure.
Rahul Ranjan, I will get back to you. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.